When we think about poetry, what usually comes to mind? Something quiet, maybe? Something found in some old, dusty book? But what if I told you it's actually one of the most dangerous forces in history? Seriously. Today, we're exploring why a few lines on a page have the power to topple governments and change the entire course of a life. And it's all based on the ideas in the book, Why is Poetry Dangerous?
And hey, I'm not just talking about a simple change of mood. I mean a real fundamental shift in how you see yourself and your place in the world. It sounds like a pretty bold claim, I know, so let's see if it actually holds up. To guide us on this journey, we're going to look at two iconic films, Il Postino and Dead Poets Society. Now, on the surface, these movies are worlds apart, but trust me, they both reveal a crucial piece of poetry's hidden, dangerous power.
Okay, first up, let's travel to a tiny Italian island and meet a very ordinary man whose life is about to become anything but.
This is Mario. His life path is, well, a straight line. Either he's going to fish or he's going to deliver mail. It's a simple, predictable world, maybe even a little bit dull. But then, a crack appears in his small world. The great Chilean poet, Pablo Neruda, arrives on the island. And this part is really important. Neruda isn't just there on vacation. He's a political exile. And that hints right from the very beginning that his words, his poetry, are considered powerful enough to threaten an entire government.
So as Neruda's postman, Mario becomes completely fascinated. He doesn't care about fame or money, not at all. He asks a simple question. What is a metaphor? You see, he's in love with a woman named Beatrice, and he's discovered this incredibly frustrating truth. He just doesn't have the words to tell her how he feels.
Neruda shows him that a metaphor isn't just some literary device, it's a whole new way of seeing. All of a sudden, Beatrice's smile isn't just a smile anymore, it's an event. The world around him is no longer just a collection of objects, but a universe brimming with meaning. Mario's journey is like a three-step revolution. First, he learns a new language for his own heart. Then, he starts finding poetry in his everyday life, in the sounds of the waves, the colors of the cliffs. And finally, his personal awakening becomes a public voice, a voice he uses to speak up for his entire community.
All right, now let's make a big shift. We're going from a world of quiet connection to a world of outright rebellion. Welcome to the rigid, oppressive halls of an elite boarding school in the 1950s.
Welcome to Welton Academy. You can think of it as a factory for future leaders. The path is set, the rules are absolute, and individuality, yeah, that's strictly off limits. And right here, you see the central conflict. On one side, you've got the school's rigid pillars, tradition, honor, discipline, excellence. But on the other, the new English teacher, John Keating, arrives with this explosive idea, Carpe Diem, seize the day. And that is a direct challenge to Welton's whole philosophy of sacrificing today for some predetermined future. In his very first class, Keating does something amazing. He has his students rip out the introduction to their poetry textbook, a section that tries to analyze poetry like it's a math equation, and he replaces it with this idea. Poetry isn't some academic subject you just dissect. It's a vital, living part of being human. And the effect is immediate. I mean, Shy Todd suddenly finds his voice. Neil, who's been crushed by his father's expectations his whole life, finds the courage to act. Poetry becomes so much more than words on a page. It becomes permission for them to finally be themselves. After tragedy strikes and Keating is fired, the students make a final stand. They climb onto their desks, proclaiming, "Oh, Captain, my Captain." Now, this isn't just a goodbye. It's a declaration. It's them saying, you can take our teacher away, but you cannot take away the new perspective he gave us. We will not give this up. So, in both of these stories, poetry changes everything. But how? What's the actual mechanism that makes a few words on a page so incredibly powerful? Let's just look at this comparison for a second. If you ask a dictionary what love is, you get a dry, technical definition. It's correct, sure, but it doesn't really capture the feeling, does it? A poet, on the other hand, doesn't try to define love. They try to transmit the experience of love itself. And that brings us to the key concept here, resonance. A poem works by offering up images and suggestions, and that creates a kind of empty space. We, as the reader, fill that space with our own memories, our own emotions. The vibration between the poet's words and our inner world, that is resonance. So here's the crucial point.
Poetry bypasses our logical brain. It doesn't present an argument that you can debate, it creates a feeling. It doesn't argue, it connects. It speaks directly to our emotions and our subconscious. Just think about Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech. He could have just used statistics and legal arguments, but instead, he used the tools of poetry, rhythm, repetition, powerful metaphors like an oasis of freedom and justice. He didn't just convince people, he made them resonate with his dream, and that ignited a movement. And because of this, the power of poetry has always been seen as a threat by people who want to maintain control. Think about it. An emotional response is way harder to regulate than a logical one. It can create unpredictable, powerful change. This is not a new idea, by the way. Over 2,000 years ago, the philosopher Plato argued that poets should be kicked out of his perfect society. Why? Because he wanted a state ruled by pure reason, and poets were dangerous because they stirred up emotions, making people, unpredictable. So we've seen how poetry can awaken, empower, and ignite people. It gives us a language for our deepest feelings and a whole new lens to see the world through. So now, let's bring it back to you.
We all live inside worlds built on answers we just take for granted. But what if a single line of poetry could shatter them? Somewhere out there is a verse that could change your direction, break old habits, and spark something totally new. The only question is, are you willing to find it?
All of the ideas we explored today are drawn from the fantastic book, Why is Poetry Dangerous? If you really want to dive deeper into how poetry has shaped society and how it can shape your own life, you should check it out. It's available for purchase on Amazon.